In our last video, we looked at ways of dividing a sentence into parts. In this video, we'll look at a very important concept in English, which is that of using the same words in different senses. Or using the same word as different parts of speech. Let's start. As you've seen, sentences can be divided into parts of speech. Parts of speech are 8 in number. These are nouns, pronouns, prepositions, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, interjections, and conjunctions. This is the traditional way of classifying parts of speech. The use of word or phrases put to in a given sentence or an utterance determines the word class or part of speech it belongs to. It simply means that one can have more than one meaning. That is, for example, down can describe an action. He fell down the staircase. Or refer to a grassland if it is used as a noun. So, the part of speech or word class or word or phrase may belong to depends absolutely on how it is used. A word or an arrangement of words can only be tagged as part of speech or word class when the function it performs is known. That is, we first look at the use and then say what part of speech a word belongs to. The converse, however, is not true. That is, the other way around, the reverse of this process, saying what part of speech a word belongs to and then looking at the use, is not true. Now we'll look at some practice examples. Here's our first example. I would like you to look at the sentences and think of the difference between each usage. I would like you to think about how the words which are highlighted are used differently in each of the sentences. I'll read them out for you. What are you up to? But after the game's over, they hurry to do what they're told to. What's the matter? What excellent mush. What? The peel swamp is still there? What does it matter? Now pause the video and attempt an answer. Once you're done, we'll look at the answer together. Now here are answers to example 1. What are you up to? What is it that you have in your mind to do? That is, what are you planning to do immediately in the immediate future? Now, what is it is a noun phrase for an action that the addressee has on their mind. Now, this is a lot of words, and we'll explain these terms later in another video. But for now, what is it stands for an action. Okay, so the speaker is asking, what action are you going to perform? That is how you would describe it grammatically. What here is a pronoun. It is specifically an interrogative pronoun. We'll go into that when we look at pronouns in detail. Second, but after the game's over, they hurry to do what they're told to. Here, again, what is a pronoun? It stands for some group of words which describes what they is the subject. Well, it's the subject of this clause, and it stands for whatever they have been told to. They are Fred and George. It's from the previous video. Alright. Next. What's the matter? Here, it is an interrogative pronoun, which is simply asking, what is it all about? What is it? What's going on? And what are we talking about? Similar meanings. It's the same as first sentence. What excellent nosh. Since what describes the noun nosh here, this usage, it does the work of an adjective in this usage. So nosh is a noun here which is being described by two adjectives in this usage, which are what and excellent. And this is a form that is followed everywhere. I mean, you don't say excellent what nosh, just what, then another adjective, then noun. Anyway, what excellent nosh is a way of expressing your emotion or feeling towards it. The speaker likes the thing that is being talked about. And it is an exclamatory sentence if you have watched the other video, or if you know what exclamatory sentences are. Now, what? A tiny patch of swamp is still there? Yeah, simply an interjection here, because here it's expressing an emotion, and there's no other use of what here. Alright. Finally, what does it matter? What is its significance? Whatever the thing that is being talked about, whatever it refers to, its significance is being called into question. As you can see, what here does the work of describing a verb, that is, to matter is to be of significance, is to mean something, is to have importance or weight. What here describes this verb matter. Therefore, as a word which describes a verb, it can be tagged as an adverb. It is an adverb in this usage. Let's move on to another example. This is our second example. The instructions are the same. I would like you to look at the sentences and think of the difference between each usage. I would like you to describe each use. And finally, once you're done, we'll look at the answer together. First, I'll read them for you. How are you? I'm how you saw me last. Well. Let well alone. Well said. Wow. I think we can discount that, can't we? This book is as well as that one. Now pause the video and attempt an answer. Now let's look at answers to example 2. The first sentence is, how are you? The answer to this question is, I'm how you saw me last. Well, how are you, as you know, is asking someone their well-being. How describes a verb. Therefore, here does the work of an adverb, like we saw in the previous example. It modifies the verb to be, which is here in the form of are. We'll look at forms of verbs, and there are not many in English, but we'll look at them in another video. Well here is used as an adjective in the second sentence, that is the answer to the question, how are you? Because it describes a noun. Specifically, it is an adjective used predicatively. Also, it is the complement of the verb be. We'll see what adjectives used predicatively complement mean in another video. For now, well here is used as an adjective. Another sentence. Let well alone. Dictionaries today list this usage as a phrase. And if we try to analyze it beyond the phrase level, when we look at the surrounding words, we can say that well here does the work of a noun. So the next sentence is well said. It's basically encouraging someone on some work done, and it may be classed as a discourse marker, descriptions of grammar today. But here, for our discussion, since it describes a verb, that is, it is describing the verb say in the past tense, that is, said. It is doing the work of an adverb, like we saw in previous sentences. Next. Well, I think we can discount that, can't we? Here is a bargain or concession that's been negotiated, and in this negotiation we have well used as an interjection because it is expressing an expectation, an expectant uncertainty, hesitation in this sense. The speaker is trying to persuade the addressee to consider the discount that is being discussed. Finally, this book is as well as that one. Now, here is a comparison, and this is a simple structure in English to compare two things: as good as well as bad as, and so on. For now, well here is an adjective because this book is well, so is that book. Book 1, or the red book, is good, and the blue book is good. That's why we set up a comparison between two books. We denote them by this and that pronouns, and we describe these nouns that is which are being referred by this and that. Therefore, well acts as an adjective and describes a noun. It describes two nouns basically, and that's it. Let's move on to another example. We're on example 3. The instructions are the same. I would like you to look at the sentence and think of the difference between each usage. I would like you to describe the use in each sentence, and I'll read them out for you first. Your right statement serves the right the wrongs. That's the right of it. To the right are the buses at the ready. It is the right thing to do. That is our birthright. Now, please pause the video, attempt an answer, then we'll look at the answers together. Answers to example 3. First, you are a right statement. And this is an example of an informal idiomatic usage, and it simply means that the person being talked about is either anxious or excited or nervous. And you will find this in spoken conversational language usage. You will not find these things in formal written discourses, let us say, or documents of formal nature. So, the right state simply describes a noun. That's why in our method of classification it is adjective. Next, serves the right. Right here describes or modifies a verb. The verb in question is serves. That's why it does the work of an adverb. That's simply like the previous examples. And right the wrongs. This is an imperative sentence because it is expressing either a command, it is expressing a wish or a command at least. Yeah. And here, as you can see, the only word that can play the role of a verb is right. So it's a verb here. To right something means to correct something. And wrongs here is the capacity of a noun. So to correct whatever is wrong, or whatever wrongs there have been, and so on. Next sentence. To the right are buses at the ready. Now the phrase "at the ready" simply means that the buses are ready to perform whatever action they're going to perform, to depart maybe. Now, right here modifies or describes the verb are. So the buses are at the ready and they are to the right. That's why, since it describes the location of the buses, by way of modifying the verb, how they are, that's what we will ask. That's why it is an adverb, this use. Next sentence. It is the right thing to do. As you can see, it modifies the unspecified noun thing. That's why whatever, and you know that whatever describes a noun is an adjective. Right here is doing the work of an adjective. Finally, that is our birthright. This is a compound noun, and we'll look into compound nouns later. They're very common, they come from Old English, but here it's compound noun and simply means that the privilege or right is granted since birth. Let's move on to another example. We now turn to example 4. The instructions are the same. I would like you to look at the sentences and think of the difference between each usage. And then I'd like you to describe the use in each sentence. And before we look at the answers, I'll read the sentence for you. All the trains to London are on a halt. All is well that ends well. After all that has happened since, do you reckon this will go well with them? All our men were lost in that battle. It is all wet. Lost her all in her owl. Pause the video, attempt the answers. We'll look at them together. Let's look at answers to example 4. All the trains to London are on a halt. It's here it's an adjective or a determiner. We'll look at what determiners are in a different video. For now, all, since it modifies the noun phrase, the trains, is an adjective. All is well that ends well. Now, pronouns stand for nouns. Therefore, all here adds the capacity of a pronoun. And the clause that ends well tells you what is exactly meant by all here. After all that's happened since, do you reckon this will go well with them? Now this use is similar to the previous one, and all here standing for some things that have happened is a pronoun. All our men were lost in that battle. Now, it's the same as the first sentence. It's a determiner or adjective. It is modifying our men, or describing our men. It was all wet. All here does the work of an adverb since it modifies the verb was. She lost her all in her owl. This simply means that her owl was everything to her, and when she lost it, she lost her all or everything. She is so attached to her owl, and therefore here all functions as a noun. Let's look at a final example. Now, example 5, or final example for this video. The instructions are same. You need to look at the sentences, think of the difference between each usage. You need to describe each usage. Finally, once you're done with it, return to the video and look at the answers. So, down the murmuring Thames she went. The man fell down from the bus. After sundown, we departed. The thing you're looking for is down there in a kitchen cupboard. It is a downstairs room. Several of the birds were downed by hunters that emerged out of nowhere. In South Downs, in the downy fields of England. Okay, this is just a phrase. Okay, let's pause the video, attempt the answer, and let's look at the answers together. Well, let's look at the answers to example 5. Last example of this video. Down the murmuring Thames she went. Here down is simply describing the verb went, therefore it is an adverb. Also, please notice the word order. I'll talk about it in another video. The man fell down from the bus. Since it modifies the phrase, since this is a phrase, down from the bus modifies the verb fell, it is an adverb. Down acts as an adverb in the sentence. After sundown, we departed. This is again a compound noun. We have seen another compound noun previously, and here it is an event. It is made up of sun and down, and it means simply sunset, at the time of sunset. Now, it's a noun. Okay, it's a noun. It's a compound noun, and it's a noun. Makes sense. The thing you're looking for is down there in the kitchen cupboard. Is, since it is modifying our verb, an adverb in this use. Next sentence. It is a downstairs room. And this is another example of a compound in English. In this case, it is an adjective because it describes the noun room in this sentence. Several of the birds were downed by hunters that emerged out of nowhere. Now, you have a subject, you have a predicate. Downed, therefore, must be a verb. You also have a participle here, ed, but we'll talk about it later. It is acting. Down is acting in the capacity of a verb here in the sentence. Several of the birds were downed by hunters. The hunters is the subject. This is a passive sentence, and the subject here will be several of the birds, and the verb will be were downed, and by hunters will be the rest of the predicate and all. Anyway, we'll look at that later. Finally, in South Downs, in the downy fields of England, said it's a phrase, and it's not a complete sentence. And first use is downs is a noun, a downy is an adjective. Now you see how nouns are formed and how adjectives are formed in English in these usages that we have gone through in this video. We'll touch upon these things in other videos and discuss them in a different video altogether. Let's summarize what we've looked at today. We saw that a word can have more than one meaning in English. These days, they call this phenomenon polysemy. Also, a word can have more than one meaning even if the part of speech remains the same. That is, if it is a noun, it can have different meanings. A word can refer to different shades of meaning, let us say, even if it is a noun and in different contexts. Polysemy, synonymy, and ambiguity are related ideas, and we'll discuss them when we discuss topics from literature and so on. There are, of course, many more words that have similar behavior, that show similar behavior like this. For example, round, above, well, before, after, why. Again, in future videos, we'll look at more of these. Finally, let's talk about homework for today. So, homework. First of all, I'd like you to look up a dictionary and notice that words in English can have many meanings. Here is homework for you on screen. You have these words that we have discussed today and an additional word, which is about. I'll read the sentences for you. First, what? What is like? What? Here again? Be sure of this. What I can help thee to, thou shalt not miss. What dire affluence from amorous causes springs? What her is this? What? Second. Right. The duties of citizens and their rights, aren't they both equally important? There's the right of it. On the right is a shop where you can find all you want. Right after it appeared in scene, two men were seen running out of a window, 13th to the right of the left wing of the building. Turn right once you reach the square. He's a right idiot. You can't always be in the right, can you? Third, well, if you insist, as they are well before time, might as well call them responsible. At the skirts of the village, there was a deep well. Your well-being is our first concern. Fourth, all. They're all here now. All is in the here and now. It was drenched, roads and all. All in all, it was good cheer. Fifth, down. Down by the tree that stands in the middle of the four-round square, there stood a man with downy arms that reached down to his knees, and as he knelt down, moving down the road to English Downs, in a downtown pub where he downed pints of London ale, he could see the sky falling down, and it made him sing till sundown until he passed down from his familiars. So there's your homework, and finally, you have... Okay, there's one more. About. This book is about English. The old big building stood near Big Tree or thereabouts. About time. What was that all about? What was all that about? They are acting about these days. And then I met someone about town. We were about to leave when he came. Okay. Another piece of homework is for you to read as much as you can. I want you to look for words in different senses, different meanings, different contexts. And for this, you'll obviously need to read as widely as possible for you. I would like you to read things of your interest, but read a variety of things. For example, magazines, journals, newspapers, stories, novels, poetry. Listen to news and manuals, even cookbooks, whatever is of interest to you, textbooks, whatever is useful for you. You should read that and try to think of polysemy, the concept that we discussed in this video. I hope you'll do your homework. Thank you. See you in another video.